Hi and welcome to what I usually call a Monday Live, but actually I'm not here. So this is a pre-record because I am in Mallorca and hopefully enjoying myself. I can even show you where I am on the left there in Puerto Palenza, and we hope to do quite a few events, various places aboard. You'll see the Mallorca one there. The Croatian one advertised, and we'll be going back to Mallorca and hopefully Tunisia, various places. So look out for those on BNB Holidays. You can always go there. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're a member or non-member or anything like that. We are open to have fun. That's our job anyway. So what are we going to be doing? Well, we're still in April. And April has been our defence month. We've been talking better switches, so we're continuing that until the end of the month. And then we move into May. And it's not May, it's actually Slamay. We're calling it Slamay, if that's okay. And I'm going to try and call it Slamay every year from now on. So it's going to be a topic on slams. Now, we go back a fair time. We've done quite a few of those, but I've not done that overview. So I'm going to do a broad slam seminar in this May, so that should be some fun, and we'll talk about slams throughout the month. And then in the future, we'll look at certain more specific things, and it should be some fun. But again, do send in hands. Today's seminar on defence is from 2 hands that were sent in, and they are so valuable to me because people always say, "Oh yeah, but you set those hands," and it's true. I can set the hands anyway. If you switch, if it's right to switch to a diamond, I'll make sure your partner has the ace, queen, jack, 4. Whereas if they're from real life, you can't blame me. So I do like having hands sent in, and the same will be in May for slam hands, etc. Please do, and I'll answer your queries on them. That's part of the fun of being here and being available for you. And again, don't forget, I'm available for you all. On Wednesday, I'm playing Teams Against the Computer. And it's quite an entertaining one, I hope. So do have a look at that. Again, it's pre-recorded because I'm not here. I'll be back the week after, of course. But I thought it was quite fun. So I'd be intrigued to see what you think about it. And what else? Well, we've got the whole programme of our UK events. Don't forget, members, you get 5% off all of those UK events. And we've got a full programme until the end of the year. So do look at those. Let me just see what I've got here at the moment. Today they've got, there's the 2 in June. I think the 10th of June and the 17th of June there. I'm doing both of those. One is on slams, funnily enough, and one is on thinking defence. So do look out for those 2. But we've got a series of events all the way up until Christmas and New Year. So as I say, you can see all of this on the BNB holiday site. So on Fridays on BNB, we are talking transfer breaks. Transfer breaks. So if you're interested in those, well, what on earth do transfer breaks mean? Does that mean you go on a holiday with transfers as the topic? It could be. But no, it's when, usually I tell you, when I teach transfers, I want you to bid the next suit up. So 1 no trump, 2 diamonds, bid 2 hearts. In theory, though, you don't have to do that. And it can be useful on some occasions to break the transfer, as in not do as you're told. But as you'll see, it's only in relatively unusual circumstances. Okay? So that's what we're talking about on Friday. So do join us if you wish. That's for members, of course, but you can join us for a small fee each week if you like. Okay, we usually start, don't we, with the blind auction. Now, some of you on Friday would have seen this already and probably are taxing your brains with it. So what do I mean by blind auction? Well, we don't see any of the hands. We have to predict what the hands are. So let's see what it goes. 1 club from north, and there's an overcall this time for a change. 1 spade from east. South bids 1 no trump. North then bids 2 spades. South bids 3 clubs. North bids 3 diamonds. South bids 3 hearts. And North bids 3 spades. South bids 4 clubs. And North bids 5. There you go. What do you think about that? That's quite a tricky one. I will admit that is quite a tricky one. So have a think about that while we go over to the seminar. Okay, so remember, the idea of the blind auction is to try and hone our abilities. I'll show you again while I'm chatting. To hone our abilities of working out what's in the opponent's hands. To be honest, on this one, if you were south or north, you might be trying to work out what was in your partner's hand. But have a little think and see where you get to with that. Meanwhile, we are going to head over, of course, to the PowerPoint. So, and what we said is we're talking defense and better switches. So let's have a go. What I have said, and I've been saying all month, is when you are defender, the most exciting thing to happen is when dummy comes down. And I want you to look at that dummy because it's going to tell you so much about the defense. Okay. 2 general rules, which we make a little poem of course, is if dummy is on your left, lead through heft. If dummy is on your right, lead the weakest suit in sight. Tiny bit of poetry. Okay, so heft from hefty, but it does rhyme with left, so that's lead through strength. And of course, perhaps the most important part is when dummy's on your right, lead the weakest suit in sight. Because of course we did see a couple of weeks ago that when dummy's on your left, it's always a little bit more precarious because everybody's got one honor. It can be dubious whether to lead a suit. But whenever dummy is on your right and there is a very, very weak suit with no high card at all, there is very little reason not to lead the suit, as we've discussed. Okay, let's look at a hand and let's see how the bidding might go on the hand. And then we can see what the defense will be. So we'll be sitting in the east hand. Do bear in mind, these have been sent in. This was sent in by Alan, this hand. So thank you, Alan. And those who send it in, do bear in mind I sometimes rotate it because I want it to be easily showable, as it were, in my format. So thank you for sending it in. As I say, please do send hands in. Very helpful for me. So here the auction was 1 spade from south, pass from west. What do you fancy with the north hand? And if I'm honest, I don't really mind what you choose. But you should have a choice of 2 bids. Okay? It's either, the choices are either 1 no trump or 2 spades. Both of those show the same. Okay? Both of those are the same. Does that make sense? They both show 6 to 9 points. Are you happy with that? Okay, so see what you think. I don't mind, as I say. Here, this north bid 2 spades. I think it's a very close call. All you're asking yourself is, does it look like a 1 no trump hand or does it look like a 2 spade hand? And I think this is very close. But I'm quite happy with either. 2 spades is definitely fine as well. South then bid 2 no trumps, which is interesting. What are you thinking that shows? What are you thinking 2 no trumps shows? Well, obviously it's a balanced hand. Well, it should be, I'm assuming. There's no reason why it shouldn't be a natural bid. It should be inviting game. Should only have 4 spades most of the time. So suddenly North is thinking, okay, maybe we should play in no trumps. So I'd be tempted to choose between 2 no trumps and 3 no trumps with the North hand. And with only 7 points, Aceless, I think passing is reasonable here. I think passing is reasonable. Okay, so you finish in 2 no trumps. The 3 of diamonds is led. Dummy plays the 5. And what do you do? Now, most of you know these trick questions, and of course the trick question is simple. You don't just decide what you're doing in diamonds. You've got to decide what you're doing across the breadth of the hand. Look at each suit in turn, the spades, the hearts, the diamonds and the clubs, and imagine what might happen in them. Okay, so dummies on your right is the first thing to bear in mind. So if dummies on your right, bear that in mind. You've also got the auction. So although clubs and spades are both pretty weak, we have had a spade bid from South as well. So for me, if I was sitting with the East hand, I would be thinking 2 things. First, I'd be playing the lowest of touching cards. I'd play the Jack of diamonds on this hand. Okay, so let's do that. And I'd be excited. But if I was going to switch to anything, I would be switching to clubs. The weakest suit in sight. Not looking at my hand, looking at dummy. A club lead is gorgeous. Remember, if declarer has the ace, king, jack of clubs, declarer makes the ace, king, jack of clubs. He can quite happily take a finesse if he wants to. Okay? But the key on this hand is the diamonds. Who has the ace of diamonds? Is that a trick question? No. We're pretty sure partner has. He should have an honor. Okay, so I'm placing partner with the ace of diamonds, but the reason I'm asking you it is because imagine if you asked South. Ask South now. Ask South who has the ace of diamonds. And what South will say is, I don't know. Does that make sense? South has no idea who has the ace of diamonds. This can be really, really tricky as a defender to just get that in your head. Because you're thinking, oh, well, he'll make the king of diamonds quickly and do this or do that. Well, actually, if your partner leads in the next round of diamonds, I have a feeling that most declarers will play low again. Does that make sense? So not only that, if you play a diamond back here, you will be wasting your queen. And if declarer has the 10 of diamonds here, your queen would lose to the king, and all your partner would make is the ace. Whereas if your partner leads away from his ace again, it actually doesn't matter what North does. I mean, declarer could go up with the king and win it, but we'd still have the queen and the ace to make. But the key for me here is that declarer doesn't know who's got the ace. So take advantage of that. Switch to clubs, let partner lead another diamond. Does that make sense? And declarer will probably duck that, and you have what's called a tempo. You end up making the first 3 diamond tricks. You make the jack and queen, and then later the ace. And declarer eventually might make a diamond trick if he can reach it by that time. Can you see? So defense is tricky. So looking for the weakest suit in sight, I'm going to switch to clubs. Let's go to the table. So I'm going to take you to Q+ here. You might have to adjust your sets, as they say. It says 2 no trumps. I'm going to start the play, and we'll just have the 3 of diamonds. And then I'm going to open up your hand so you can see it. There's a good reason why I do that, because as I said, this, I'm not sure I would necessarily have made the lead that West did, but it's the lead that was made at the table when Alan was playing, and that's crucial. So we play the jack of diamonds, which wins the trick, and we are going to switch to clubs. So let's do it. Okay, I'd lead a small one, suggesting an honor. Partner beats the jack with the king. Okay. And leads another club back. That's okay. We've invited him to do that. So we'll play the queen. Okay. See what declarer does. Now, what's interesting, again, declarer cannot see a heart. So I'm very hopeful of that queen of hearts making. Does that make sense? I'm very hopeful of that. Now, well, that is interesting. not unreasonably, Declare is hoping that maybe West has the queen. So he's taken a finesse of that. Okay. Okay, I'm expecting partner to have one more club, because Declare won't have 5 clubs. Don't forget Declare opened a spade. So I'll lead another club, hopefully developing a trick there. There you go. So believe it or not, I know it takes a little bit of energy, but the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9 of clubs have gone. Okay, so we've developed a club trick. Ace of spades. Okay. And this is crucial here. That is just normal play from Declare. Are you happy with that? It's completely normal play what Declare has done there. What Declare has done is he's taken a half an ace. He has no idea what our holding is. So we can win our queen. We cash a club. Okay, we know our partner's got a diamond winner, but actually, why not play a spade? Okay, I mean, Declare can't be solid in spades. So let's be greedy. Let's play a spade. Okay. So we've established our jack of spades. We may not ever make it, but we'll see. We throw a diamond away. Partner's got the ace of that suit. And who's got the last trick? There you go. So we took it 2 off. And it's the reason why I like the hand is because it exhibits the fact that Declare doesn't know anything. So when you get given sheets, computer handouts at the end of an event, they will tell you how many tricks you can make, but they'll tell you how many tricks you can make when you can see all of the cards. So of course, if you could see all the cards of Declare, you would make the ace, king and jack of hearts. But here, not unreasonably, you would take a finesse of the jack. Now, as I say, I think with the West cards, I'll just remind you of the auction. With the West cards, I would have probably led the 10 of hearts. But this player chose a diamond and it worked out rather well. It went to the jack. We played a club. And interestingly, what we've done is we've developed the 4th round of clubs. Because when we switched to a club, correctly, South put in the jack, but the partner's king killed the jack. I have to say I'd have probably returned the 9 if I was West. He chose the 2, but that's another matter. But the point is we ended up making 2 clubs, 3 diamonds, and 2 hearts. And took this 2 off. I think at the table, at the time, Alan took it 1 off, which was a good score. 1 off is a good score. But the key is not continuing diamonds. Can you see that? So the first diamond, let's just remind ourselves, went a diamond to the jack. If you lead the queen of diamonds back, that would allow Declare to win the king, and then he won't be able to develop another one, but he'll have the 9 and 7. So we will only make 2 diamond tricks. But what's important is by allowing West to play the next diamond, or indeed South, which happened at the table, our queen may make the second trick, because Declare has no idea who has the queen and who has the ace. He knows West has one of them. He's hopeful that West has both of them. Okay. And so he chose to lead the 10 of diamonds and run it, which is not the worst play. His diamonds are quite strong compared to his other hands. I mean, he might have played on spades, but he chose to play on diamond. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And I'll just show you that hand. We switched to clubs, as you know, and there was the full layout of the hand, as you can see it. And thank you, Alan, for sending that in. This one was sent in by Tim. So again, we're sitting in the East hand. And let's see how the auction goes on this one. Okay, let's see how the auction goes on this one. And a little bit longer, we'll see. 1 diamond from North, we passed with the East hand. 1 heart from South. What do you fancy with the North hand? Hopefully a normal 2 club bid. Seems reasonable. It then went 2 no trumps from South. What do you fancy with the North hand? What do you fancy with the North hand here? What do you fancy? I think it's tricky, isn't it? I think it's you're borderline. Playing teams, you're always going to go for it because you might make, you might not, but there's not a huge amount to say for it. But there's that law, isn't there? I think it's Bob Hammond's law. If 3 no trumps is an option, then bid it. I mean, obviously there's an upside, but you've sort of shown your hand. You've shown your 5-4 shapes. You've got no surprise there. So to be honest, I would feel that the normal thing here would be to bid to pass. Does that make sense? I mean that's what it looks like to me, if I'm honest. But I know a lot of people would bid the 3. So, but for me, you're not connecting in hearts. So if you're borderline, how do you fit with your partner's suit? Well, you've got a singleton. So for me, probably 2N is enough, and just leave it in 2N. As I say, don't forget you've shown your shape 5-4, so you've got no surprises there. Anyway, we're sitting in the East Hand. We're glad they're in 3 no trumps. Okay, so it's gone. Remember, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 2 clubs, 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps. Your partner leads the 4 of spades. Okay, and you play the 9, which is the best you can muster, and then it goes the 10, and you've got to decide what is your plan. And the most important point here is you're going to get the lead. You've got 2 important cards. You're going to get the lead twice, in fact. You're going to get the King of Diamonds and the Ace of Clubs. And so you've got, to be honest, I want you to be making this plan before you've played the 9 of spades, because as soon as you play the 9 of spades, Declare can win the trick and play the next trick. And if I tell you he's going to lead the 10 of diamonds quite quickly, you should have made your decision on what you're doing in diamonds before he leads it. Okay, so are you going to duck the 10 of diamonds, or are you going to win it? I think Declare has got a fair number of entries. I think Declare should have a spade stopper, and the 10 of spades certainly isn't one. So I'm expecting at least, I would have thought with Queen 10x, Declare would have asked for help in spades. So I think more likely is something like either Queen Jack 10 and another, or Ace 10 or something like that. So I think the King of Spades is definitely an entry. That's all I'm saying for Declare. So I don't think there's any problem with the entries. I don't mind ducking the 10 of diamonds. The only worry I have is that Declare might have somewhere else to look for tricks. So if Declare, for example, has the King of Clubs, you can see there's 3 club winners. However, the most important part of this hand, as always, is looking at dummy. And irrespective of whether South has bid, to me, when dummy is on my right and I see a small singleton in a 3 no trump contract, someone has to persuade me not to lead a heart. So there has to be a very good reason. Because remember, if Declare has got Ace King Jack to 6, he can take a finesse if he wants to anyway. So I'm not worried if Declare has all that. But if Declare is missing any strength in hearts, I need to lead them myself. Okay, and that's crucial. Okay, it's not as if the spade leaders hit any great shakes. As I say, I think either South has 4 spades to the Queen 10, or he's got the ace as well. So and remember, we're the one with the entries here, so I can't see partner having much fun in spades. So for me, it's all about switching to hearts. So let's go to the table. I'll take you to the Q Plus again. It's easier to see. So this was sent in by Tim, I should say. Sorry about that, Tim. Forgot to mention you there. So thanks for this hand, Tim. Now, they didn't quite get the defense right on this one. They wondered why. And people tend not to like to switch to suits bid. So let's start the play, see what happens. And we've seen it already. The 4 of spades is led, as you saw. And we played the 9. So Declare won the 10, and as I've already told you, He led the 10 of diamonds. Now, are you ready for it? And that's the key. I don't mind whether you choose to duck or not, but what I want you to do is look at dummy. You know the diamonds are going to be played. You know clubs are going to be played. You need to make decisions about them. So the perfect decision is winning the king, because there may be other places to go. I think there are entries to dummy. Not only that, if you trust your partner has played his highest diamond. That is a crucial play from West. Because he's played his highest diamond, you know he's either only got one, it's a singleton, or he's got a doubleton, which means that South has another diamond. So if you allow the 10 to win, South can equally well play another diamond. Okay, that your king will then win that, but I'm pretty sure there's entries in dummy. What I'm planning to do is win that king. I am not going to lead a spade back. I am leading a heart back. Okay, partner's won the jack. And he trusts us. We led a low heart, which is inviting West to lead hearts back. And all I can say is thank you for trusting me, partner. Okay. And obviously our queen and 10 are equals, so we can knock out the ace. And we know we've got an entry. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Well, declarer clearly needs to knock out the ace, so he does. But we win that. And we take our heart winner. And that is the end of the hand. Okay, we'll let declarer have the rest. I don't need to shilly-shally about that. So there's the hand. And what was interesting is I think it's quite tricky. First and foremost, I think partner's lead is normal. Let me show you. I tell you what, some of you like to see it on this. So I can show you it if you prefer on the PowerPoint. There's the full hand there. If you prefer that. So I think the 4 of spades is perfectly reasonable here. It's an unbid suit. I think you're a little bit unlucky that South wins the 10. Okay. South led the 10 of diamonds. If you duck that, South can actually make 9 tricks. Can you see that? He's got 3 spade tricks because unfortunately he won the first one with the 10. He can make 3 club tricks. And if you duck the first diamond, he'll make 2 diamond tricks and the ace of hearts. So that is 9 tricks. And I did try that against the computer. And when the 10 of diamonds was ducked, South did indeed switch to clubs. Okay, so it looks like a reasonable duck, but be careful sometimes. Okay, so the 10 of diamonds, we won it with the king and of course switched, and that was the end of that. Could it go wrong? Well, we've got queen 10. With queen empty, it's a closer call, isn't it? But with queen 10, so 2 high cards, I think it's a really good switch, and our partner was able to agree with us. He won the jack and played the king, and that not much declarer can do. Okay, it's just normal bidding and normal play there. As I say, I think leading away from the queen jack of spades is perfectly reasonable there. It doesn't work on the hand. Okay, but it's got to be East's job to lead hearts. Dummy's on his right, north, of course. Weaker suit inside. It should be simple for him. Very difficult for West to lead from the king jack when South has bid the suit. Okay, but from East's point of view, if South has got all the missing hearts, well, so be it. I'm not going to have given anything away. Okay, so I hope you're happy with that. A couple of hands that were sent in, as I say, and I think it helps me if I have hands that are sent in because it shows that they are real. Some of you will see them on Wednesday nights, I hope. You'll see me and my various partners defend, and sometimes we get it right. And most of the time, it's not because we signal to each other. It is because we look at dummy. It's my favourite form of the game, defence. It's a wonderful thing, and as you get better at it, you'll enjoy it. You can bridge more and more, because suddenly you won't need points necessarily. Okay, so don't forget, I do want you to send me examples in. So maybe a few more defence ones, but we'll be moving on to slams soon. In the month of May, it is Slam May. Don't forget. Okay, so I've got to get on to the invisible hand. So let's just quickly do that. I've got to show you the auction again, so bear with me. So here we go. Let's put it up. let's go through that auction again then, and we'll discuss it as it goes. So North opened a club, natural. East overcalled a spade, and South bid a no trump. Again, we'd expect South to be around 6 to 9 points. Sometimes with 6 points, he might not choose to bid. Pass 2 spades. What does 2 spades mean? Well, to me, 2 spades means, partner, I am strong and I'm excited. Okay, so it's a strong hand. It also might suggest, partner, could you check that your spade stopper is good? So what do I mean by that? Well, South is probably going to... I would prefer that South had a spade stopper for the 1 no trump bid, but there will be times that he might stretch the definition of a stopper. And I think that's important. If South's got 6 points, he won't stretch it. But if he's got 9 points and a balanced hand, and he hasn't got 4 hearts, because I like the double to show 4 hearts, there'll be times with 9 points that he might want to bid 1 no trump. And so here he bids 3 club. And I'm starting to think that maybe that would suggest he hasn't got the strongest spade stopper. Okay, partner, I bid 1 no trump because I was flat, but I'm not sure I can underwrite it. Okay, says North. Well, let's have a chat about the rest of the hand. I've got something in diamonds, so probably a cubit here. Okay, because I think the main focus is on spades for no trumps, and it looks like we possibly haven't got a stopper. So 3 diamonds for me would be a cubit. And so 3 hearts is saying I've got something in hearts, partner. It's a cubit in itself. So what about 3 spades here? Well, once again, for me, that would be a cubit, and so I'm pretty sure that North has probably got a singleton spade. And so South still has the opportunity to bid 3 no trumps here. So if he had 4 to the Jack 10 or something like that, I still think it's perfectly reasonable to finish in no trumps. But South didn't. South bid 4 clubs. I also think that North is trying to suggest something more exciting than 4 or 5 clubs. But South is pretty passive here, and in this kind of auction, I sort of wouldn't be massively surprised if South is a 4-3-3-3 hand. And bearing that in mind, North is going to have to be very rich in controls to bid a slam. But anyway, he bids 5 clubs. So are you happy with that? My description? Let's see, open up the hands and see what you think. Okay. So there are the hands. I'm expecting a very strong hand with the North hand. Are you happy with that? Yeah, he's got 18 points and 6 clubs, and he wants to play in 3 no trumps. But rather than just trusting our 1 no trump bid, he asked us, well, let's look at the South hand. What do you think of 1 no trump? And to be honest, I think it's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable bid. I think it's perfectly reasonable. He's got 9 points. It's a nice hand. Do you really want to bid 2 clubs with that hand? Surely 1 no trump is reasonable. But when your partner then asks you how good your spade stopper is, 2 spades, partner, I'm strong and excited, describe your hand, 3 clubs is a better description. So that's what South did. Look, I know I bid 1 no trump, partner, but just in case I've got some support for your first bid suit. And at which point, North is thinking about a slam here, not unreasonably. He's got an amazing hand, hasn't he? And it looks like Slam's got a chance. Turns out, South is too flat. And there's no surprise, that's why we chose 1 no trump in the first place. So 3 clubs, 3 diamonds, partner, I want to try for bigger things. South bid 3 hearts, clever bid. That's where my strength outside clubs is. Partner, the king of hearts. So that excited North a bit. North cubit again, 3 spades. But South had nothing more to show. 4 clubs, 5 clubs. So well done if you worked that out. I know it's an overly complicated auction, but North wants to play in 3 no trumps if he can. Well, he couldn't on this occasion because South's stopper wasn't good enough. And if he's not in that, why not try for a slam? Doesn't take much imagination for slam to make if South had had a doubleton heart. So I think, imagine South had 5 spades to the 9 and king doubleton. I suppose we might have finished up in 6 clubs. Oh, that's all it takes. If South has a king doubleton heart, so maybe I suppose move the 7 of hearts into the diamond suit. If the 7 of hearts was in the diamond suit, you might bid the same way, 1 no trump first, and eventually you could make 6 clubs. I'm not saying it'd be easy to bid it, but you'd need some science, wouldn't you? Anyway, so that's what the bid showed. Sorry if you disagree. Do send me emails. That's what I'm here for. I love to get your correspondence, and if you've got any thoughts about how we can improve things and change things, I'd be very glad for it. We'll stick with the blind hands for a little bit longer, and we'll come up with another idea soon. And if you've got another idea, please do come up with one too. I did mention we'll be having some bidding quizzes and things like that for when I'm away. Well, I am looking to do that eventually. Haven't quite got there yet. I'm getting the tech set up, so bear with us. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Sorry I wasn't with you. Hopefully back with you soon. Remember, next Monday is another bank holiday, so I'm not there then. But the Mondays after that in May, I will be there and be glad to see you then. Don't forget, we've got the bidding quiz. Let's just finish off with that. So, here is your bidding quiz. 1 heart on your right. You chose to overcall a spade. I hope you're happy with that. It then went 2 hearts from north. Double from your partner, par. So 1 heart, you overcalled 1 spade. 2 hearts from north, double from your partner, pass, and it's your bid. So nobody's vulnerable here. Have a go at it, and then go to the website, please. And either as a non-member or a member, you can see the answer, and hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully some of you get it right as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the week. I'm going to now switch to the beginners, if that's all right, as we always like to do at the end of the Monday. So here we are looking at inviting game again. And this time I'm adding a little bit extra. We've already looked at it before, but by reiterating, I tend to find that's a good way of learning, but we will see. So we're looking at the bidding plan again, finding the denomination. Do we want to play in trumps or no trumps? And finding your level. Do you want to go for game or just stay low? And of course, we've decided that 25 points was about the right level. However, we also mentioned before the idea of distribution when playing in a trump contract. So that's what we're again going to focus on here, reminding ourselves that we've got these invitational bids, but we do have to remember to include our distribution when using them. Don't forget, only when we find a trump fit. So let's look at a, I nearly said simple there, a relatively straightforward example of using distribution as well as your points. So your partner opens 1 club, and you rather like clubs, but one of the first rules is majors are more important than minors. So before we decide to play with clubs as trump, we show one of our majors here. And if our partner happens to like hearts or spades, we will prefer to play in that suit rather than clubs. So we respond 1 heart. Our partner now has the chance to bid 2 hearts, 3 hearts or 4 hearts, or he could actually bid 1 spade, for example. And in that way, we'd make sure that if we have a major fit, we will find it. Let's see what our partner does. He bids 2 hearts. So he likes hearts, but he should have a minimum hand because he's only raised to 2 hearts. So how many points does that show? 12 to 14. Okay. So we've got to add our points to 12 to 14. Well, we have 11 high card points, but we also have a singleton, which we can be excited about because we've decided that hearts are the right suit for us. So once you've decided you're going to play in trumps, a singleton or a void becomes very exciting, I should say. And of course, what we decided was that a singleton is worth an extra 3 points. So I'm adding 3 to my 11 high card points. That gives me 14. And that is plenty for game. Because if you add 14 to the 12 to 14 your partner's got, that gives you 26 to 28 points. So there's no inviting here. I'm jumping straight to 4 hearts. There's your partner's hand. And as you can see, not a huge number of high card points between us. 12 points in your partner's hand and just 11 in yours. But that singleton makes game simple. If you look at the 2 hands, there's just 1 diamond in your hand, so you'll only lose 1 diamond. And there's a couple of spades in your partner's hand, so you'll lose 2 spades. But you've got the rest there, either by just taking the tricks or at least roughing 1 diamond. Okay, so that should be a nice and comfortable 4 hearts. Let's look at one more. I'm going to look at the 2 hands together. This will be a bit harder work, but it'll be harder work because we're looking at both hands. Okay, and you'll notice that there was a singleton in both of them, which is going to make a lot of difference. So West opens the bidding, and with longer hearts than any other suit, he opens 1 heart. And straight away, East knows that hearts is the thing that we want to play in. So East is excited about hearts, and he bids to the right level. If he's got fewer than 6 points, he would actually pass 1 heart. With 6 to 9 points, he bids 2 hearts. 10 to 12, he bids 3 hearts. We have to use those bidding tables. So here, you have 6 high card points, but you must add 3 for your singleton. However, that's still just 9 points, which fits neatly in the range of 6 to 9, so it's just a 2 heart bid. Okay, partner, haven't got much to get excited about. Okay, well, let's look at the West hand now. With just 14 points, perhaps he's not so excited, but he has a singleton as well, so let's have a look. From his point of view, he knows you've got 6 to 9, and he has got 14 plus 3 for a singleton. Once again, we're seeing this distribution come into play. So he's evaluating his hand as 17. So what he does is he adds 17 to the range of East. Now, East, as we said, has shown 6 to 9. So add 17 to 6 to 9. A lot of arithmetic when you do both sides. That gives you 23 to 26. Okay, so remember, we are doing the work of both sides, which is hard. So if there's 23 to 26 points, should you bid game or not? But of course you don't know, do you? What you've got to do is invite your partner. You're thinking that if your partner has a minimum hand of 6 or 7 points, you probably can't make game. But if he's got a maximum hand of 8 or 9 points, then maybe you can make game. So you bid 3 hearts. Partner, I'm not sure. Okay, so we nip back over to the East hand. And of course, we've already evaluated the East hand, haven't we? And we said it wasn't just 6 points. It was 6 high card points plus 3. So it's actually 9 total points. And that is a maximum, not a minimum. Remember, you're still including that distribution. And that's what we're going to see is so exciting about the hands. So we have 9 points, which is maximum. So we can go 4 hearts. And look at those 2 beautiful singletons. Can you see the value of them? You should only lose 1 diamond and 1 spade on this hand, because hopefully you can ruff any other cards in those suits. Can you see? So if they play the ace of spades and followed by the king, you would be able to ruff in the East hand. If they play the ace of diamonds followed by the king of diamonds, you could ruff the second diamond in the West hand. And of course, you've got lots of lovely clubs and lots of lovely hearts. So if we add up the total points, there's just 20 points between the 2 hands. Ace, king, queen, jack of clubs, ace, king, queen of hearts, and the jack of spades. So just 20 high card points. But the distribution, the 2 singletons, of course, we've added 3 on for both. So that takes you to the magic 26, which means that you should go for game. Distribution is fun. It allows you to make more tricks. But don't forget, you do need to know you're playing in a trump contract. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I think we'll change the topic next week and move on and develop a few more ideas. Hope you're enjoying our sessions and see you for another one soon. Thank you very much.